Hi, everybody, and welcome to a very special show. Over the course of the next hour, we are going to relive some great memories from what many have called the greatest college football game ever played, the 1971 OU Nebraska game, the game of the century. And it is our great honor, our tremendous honor, to be joined by two of the top two greatest coaches in college football history, two of the all-time legends. Three-time national champion and Super Bowl champion, College Hall of Famer Barry Switzer from the University of Oklahoma, three-time national champion and College Hall of Famer, the congressman himself, Dr. Tom Osborne from Nebraska. Coach Switzer, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Toby, for having me here today. I'm amazed you were able to put this together, get us here, Tom and I together on this. I think it's kind of neat. Someone just called me this past week and asked me if I'd do it, and I said, yeah, I'll be happy to do it. You get Tom, I'll be there.
Coach Osborne, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Toby. It's good to see Barry again, and we'll see if we can remember that far back. We're both going to be challenged.
Yeah, we'll be certainly challenged, I promise you.
I want to ask you in general, and we'll start with you, Coach Switzer, about your days coaching against Tom Osborne, head coach, and obviously here in 1971 as offensive coordinator. What did you respect most about Coach Osborne's Nebraska team?
Well, first of all, they were very well coached and excellent football teams. We always knew that for our fans, Texas game was the big game because we got so many alumni. No one ever graduated University of Texas, came north of Red River to make 11. A lot of them graduated OU, went south of the Red. But we knew as coaching staff, Nebraska would win the Big 8 Conference Championship and have a chance to play for the national championship in the Orange Bowl. So the biggest game on our schedule every year is Nebraska at the end of the year. And they had a great program. I think we had great respect for each other. We didn't really go to head-to-head in recruiting, have to battle against each other. So things were always pretty good when we went on the field politically, and we always were very competitive. And Tom's run was probably the greatest run in college football history. His 25 years his record is unbelievable, and to accomplish what he did in the 90s, and as I said, his team in the 90s go out there and put half 100 on anybody, and the people he had, the system he ran, his playbook. But it's always been, I look at Nebraska, I think Bob Devaney, Don Bryant, Fox, you wouldn't know him, and Tom Osborne, and a bunch of other good coaches they had. I liked them all, knew them all.
Coach Osborne, same question for you. What are your memories of coaching against Barry Switzer?
Well, a lot of them weren't very good memories because he whipped us a lot of times, but we always had a good relationship. Sometimes in a heated rivalry, things get really ugly. And I don't think Nebraska-Oklahoma was ever that way. And a lot of it had to do with Barry always had a good outlook. We were good friends. And so it was always a healthy rivalry. And our fan bases also kind of embraced that. I think there was a lot of respect both ways. I think over a period of 29, 30 years, the winner of that game won the Big 8 championship or tied for it about 28 times. So there was always a lot on the line, and always, in most cases, some national championship implications. And so we had a good rivalry. We learned a lot from Oklahoma, and they whipped us quite a few times early on. But every one of those whippings we took, we learned something. And so anyway, it was a good rivalry. Always a very good series.
Today, we're going to look back at the 1971 game of the century. Of course, that's when Coach Switzer and Coach Osborne were the offensive coordinators for their respective teams. Chuck Fairbanks, the head coach at Oklahoma, Bob Devaney, the head coach at Nebraska. Coach Switzer, what do you remember feeling coming into this highly anticipated 1-versus-2 showdown back in 1971? Well, Thanksgiving Day.
Well, I always think about don't turn the ball over, and we lost the ball 3 times that day, which isn't a big number for us. But I always think about that. The only chance you got is play perfect against Nebraska. They're undefeated, defending national champions, leading again for national championship, number 1 undefeated, and so were we. But We worried about the big play with RODGERS, obviously, and of course we knew they were going to salt us with the tailback, and Taggy was going to be a factor in the game. But we were an 8-man front and a 3 deep, and we changed it 50-man front next year, which has made us a little better. Johnny RODGERS.
First play of the game right there, a pass from Jerry Taggy to Johnny RODGERS. Coach Osborne, your thoughts going against Oklahoma back in 1971. They had the #1 offense in the country that year. Stout defense as well, Lucius Selman and the boys. What do you remember going into that game about what was going to be key for your offense?
Well, they, as Barry said, they were in sort of a 6-1 defense that year. And that meant the middle linebacker was somebody that would sometimes run some counter dives. The fullback go one off the right guard, the tailback go off the left. And that middle linebacker was kind of frozen. So we got our center off on him, had some running game there. Actually, neither defense that day played great. And Oklahoma, as Barry said, changed their defense the next year. Larry Lacewell kept calling Monty Kiffin, and Monty Kiffin would tell him everything he knew. And pretty soon Oklahoma got really good. And but the big problem with playing the wishbone was you only saw it once a year. So you had 4 days to get ready for it. And but we had some good players, and I think Rich Glover had a pretty good day that day. And you see that you had to involve your secondary some in order to stop the option.
Well, here's the play of the game, Coach.
That's right. Yeah.
Johnny RODGERS.
Missed tackle right there. Greg Pruitt was the first attack. This is when you had to cover with the people on the field. Remember, Tom, your offensive team had to stay out there and cover. And and Greg Pruitt was an up back. He was the first down there because of his great speed, but he missed the tackle. He was actually had his hands on Johnny. But big play. They go up first time they touch the ball. I remember this. They in the Orange Bowl they do the same thing to Nebraska. To Alabama. First play of the game, they punt to Johnny RODGERS. I believe I'm right. And Johnny RODGERS runs it back for touchdowns. They put Alabama pretty good in the Orange Bowl.
Coach Osborne, that's one of the most iconic plays in college football history right there.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're from Nebraska, you'd say there was no clip. If you're from Oklahoma, you'd say there was a clip.
Well, he wouldn't have called it anyway. It was one of those clips that it wasn't in the play.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a factor.
Yeah.
But Tom and I'll guarantee you say we have coached other teams that are so much better than these right here. Not that some of these players wouldn't have been able to play on those teams, but as a total team, Nebraska and Oklahoma have had better teams since. But this was the biggest game of this time, and as they have in football.
7-0 Nebraska early, thanks to the 72-yard punt return for a touchdown by Johnny RODGERS. And
that's my mistake. I didn't give the ball enough to Greg Pruitt. Greg Pruitt ought to touch it 27 times a game, like Billy Sims. I just wasn't going to make that mistake again. Put predetermined plays in for him. Run pops, power plays, sweeps. Let Pruitt just run with the ball.
Still got regrets 50 years later.
Oh, hell yeah. You second guess. It's ones you lose, you always second guess. Yeah.
Big Leon Crosswhite carrying the load there on this drive for you. Tell us about Jack Mildren, Coach. What made Jack so special?
Well, he's a special athlete. You can tell his great quickness. He's had good speed. He's smart. We put this play in we ran a counter option with a lead block on the linebacker, double team down, and put the fullback up on the linebacker, and they were playing the end for the pitch. So Jack was going to keep the ball, or they weren't going to let Pruitt get the ball, or Wiley with their great speed outside. So Mildred made a lot of
Larry
yards.
Jacobson there.
Yeah. Good tackle.
We had some pretty good.
And here's the biggest regret in the game. I didn't throw the damn ball to that guy enough. Johnny Harrison was the guy who run 9,600 from Abilene, Texas, and he probably made Jack Mildren in high school. And this guy, y'all were so soft on him and played everybody else in the run. And I regret not throwing the ball to Johnny 4 or 5 more times. that Rich Glover.
I'd say your passing game hurt us in this game more than your running game.
Yep.
And Monty Kiffin maybe outthought himself. He took our best corner and made him a safety, and took our safety and made him a corner. And you guys had a lot of guys wide open. And of course, that's what the wishbone does to you. It makes you go one-on-one on the outside.
Yeah.
Sooners on the march, trailing 7-0. The big 32-yard pass to Harrison has put Oklahoma in scoring position here, and going to have to eventually settle for a field goal. 30-yard try by John Carroll.
John Carroll. Tom, I've lost so many players since 2000. I've had 36 players, I think, that I've been a part of their service or are involved with their passing. But I lost one this week. And but it's, it's one thing when we live, Tom, we live longer than everybody else. We're going to have more loss of relationships.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
Oh,
well, the good thing about coaching is the relationships, and of course the bad thing is that when you lose one of those players, it's almost like losing a family member. And
oh yeah,
here's
people
Johnny
always
again on a return.
People always ask me about college and pro football. That's the difference. In college football, it's about the young men, the relationships you have. 17, 18, 19-year-old kids you're helping develop for the next 30, 40 years of living, and you get to know them, their families, if there's a father in the home, all those things. And pro football, that's so irrelevant. And good play right there by our corner.
That's Steve O'Shaughnessy.
Steve O'Shaughnessy from Midland, Texas.
Had a sack to start this drive from Lucius Selman.
Yeah.
And really, this is the Lucius, of course, the first of the Selmans to arrive. Going to honor the Selman brothers before the OU Nebraska game.
We were going, but since it's 11 o'clock kickoff, Toby, we're not going to do it now.
We're going to go Friday night, I think.
Oh, Friday night? Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll do it Friday.
Get an opportunity.
But we were hoping to have the statue. We were having a statue of all three of them, Tom. And if it was a 1 o'clock game, we were wanting to unveil it and have honoring the Selman brothers, because not just because they're a great football player and they were unique, because they did something no one else had ever done. And there's three brothers play side by side at the same time and all graduate honors, and all three All-American, plus the fact that Albert Chandler's a pretty good player. And when they played, we were 54-3-1 when the Selmans played at Oklahoma. So they made us pretty good.
They were guys that we had a hard time handling, I can tell you that. And so you certainly can be proud of those guys.
Yeah.
Coach Osborne, are you excited to see the Nebraska and Oklahoma rivalry back on the field again?
Yeah, when it was I think the last year I was a AD, Joe Castiglione scheduled this series of 2 games, and so we're glad to see it happen, and I hope to be down there in person. And Johnny Rodgers never fair caught a punt. Today you see about 50% of the punts being fair caught. Johnny never fair caught a punt, no matter how close they were to him. Pretty remarkable guy. That's Jeff Kinney with the ball, but didn't get much in the way of yardage there.
Derlin was the second-round draft pick, played about 12 years for the Saints. Kid out of Popular Bluff, Missouri. Popular Bluff. Shaughnessy.
2 high-powered offensive teams here in 1971, but the defenses kind of having the first quarter. Other than the punt return, it's been a defensively dominated game so far.
What kind of speed did Taggy have, Tom, the quarterback?
Well, Taggy wasn't real fast, probably about 4.8.
That's what I was thinking. Well, that's what I guessed he would be. He rips off a run here about 42 yards in this game here. It was big.
But he was very steady, and he was a good thrower from Green Bay, Wisconsin. We had 3 players from Green Bay on our football team. There's a counter dive right there. And we started running counter dive later in the game ourselves.
Tim Welch with the carry.
Tackled by Glover, yeah.
Yeah, Glover was a great player. I see Glover every time I go to the National Coaching Convention. Rich looks me up. Yeah, he's quite a kid.
Got a big play coming up here.
15, 16 tackles in this game.
Right.
Good carry by
Mildren.
Jack Mildren.
Yeah. Mildren had about 130 yards in that game.
130 rushing yards, 137 passing yards. There's a fumble. Greg Pruitt has it knocked out. Jim Anderson for Nebraska, the recovery. No advance
Those
on
turnovers are always huge. Yeah.
Pruitt. Yeah, wish. Loose ball right there, carrying loose. Arm knocked down.
So late first quarter, Nebraska gets it back with a 7-3 lead. About 15 seconds to go. This will be the final play of the first quarter. And Coach Osborne's going to call Bill Olds' number over right tackle for about 6 yards. Second quarter action now. Jerry Taggy and the Cornhuskers on the move, leading 7-3.
14-3.
14-3.
It looked like we skipped a few plays there, and they just saw the end of the drive.
I don't think the one fumble made them start over. Jeff Kinney, the 1-yard touchdown, did indeed put Nebraska ahead 14-3. So your offense needs to come alive here, Coach Switzer. Important drive here down the left.
Good play with the linebacker.
As Jimmy Anderson, the secondary guy, made the tackle, and he's from Green Bay also. So Green Bay was good to us. We had 3 starters from Green Bay.
Leon Crosswhite for 24. That kind of jump-started your offense here on this drive.
Yeah. Hitting the miss.
There's Jack Mildren.
Jack was tough, too, you think. He's talented, had good speed, quickness, smart. You know, Jack was left-handed naturally, but he threw right, which a lot of people didn't know. Yeah, Jack did everything left-handed, but he threw the football right-handed. Yeah.
Yes. Larry Jacobson on the tackle. He was an All-American player for us. And
Mildren for 7.
Yep.
14-3 Nebraska, second quarter. Sooners on the march in Huskers territory, and there's more Crosswhite. Steady diet of Crosswhite, Pruitt, and Mildren coming the way of the Huskers here.
That's a wishbone team, does that. Fullback, quarterback offense. Especially today.
Oh, there's a crease.
The quickness Mildren had.
We're going to see a little bit of Greg Pruitt. You said, Coach Switzer, you wish you had given him the ball more in this game. You had so many great running backs. What made Greg Pruitt stand out?
See, I thought this play we should run more too. Mildren, a counter, faking the fullback, run the fullback, counter with him, turn out block, and let the linebacker run and let Jack go where the linebacker been. And that's what we did there. You always regret and look back. You should have said, well, we should have run this play more. We should have run this play more.
I'm fascinated that you remember. This is 50 years ago.
Well, no, I just remember that that's what we talked about. You base it off. Your defense dictates what you do offensively. And their defense was so good, especially with nose guards and the way the linebackers ran so well. And see Mildren fight them off there. Damn, we fumbled again, I think. No, we're down. Thank goodness.
You got it back, yeah.
Got her back. We lost 3 of them. Mildren touchdown.
That's right. Jack Mildren into the end zone, and Oklahoma needed a score and got it. An impressive touchdown drive, and that'll make it 14-10.
Yep.
All of it on the ground.
As I recall, it was kind of a chilly day for Norman and cloudy.
Hey, don't complain about my days down here. Many times I had to go play at your place.
No, It was always worse than Nebraska. That's right.
Oh, me. But you had great fans.
Short
I've always
kickoff.
applauded your fans. Your fans were wonderful. But the weather wasn't cooperative.
Intended for Johnny Rodgers, just beyond his fingertips.
Yeah.
Nebraska starts this drive near midfield.
There's that.
Maury Damkroger. You got about 10, and the Huskers into Sooner territory. Trick play.
Johnny throwing the ball.
Yeah, so
The receiver got either knocked down or slipped. I don't know which it was. Yeah.
He was looking for Woody
And
Cox.
what-
He overthrew him.
Woody Cox is a
Woody
little
Cox.
guy. He was from the Mexico Military Academy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Zabel. We got Zabel out of that academy. Steve
Mhm.
Zabel played for these
Yeah.
guys. New Mexico Military Institute. Yeah.
Jeff Kinney again.
Jeff Kinney. And Jeff Kinney had a pretty good day, particularly in the second half.
Oh,
In and out of the hands, and Nebraska now is going to try for a long field goal. A 56-yard attempt upcoming for Rich Sanger, trying to put the Huskers up 7.
Rich Sanger.
These are straight-on kickers. They weren't soccer kickers at that time. So
Yeah. Our first one was 1960, though. Or, 70.
Mhm.
Tony DiVrenzo.
Uh-huh.
He was out of San Pablo, Brazil. He was
Great
an
kicker.
exchange student, Ardmore. And hell, we had never seen anybody kick like him. So
Tony DiRienzo.
Yeah. That was our first one. Then everyone after that was.
Chance to take the lead here for Oklahoma now, down 14-10. We're in the second quarter. Game of the century in 1971.
Have you seen this film since, Tom? There's the play I
No,
told you about, the fullback leading up on the linebacker. That's where Jack was making his
I've
yardage.
just seen a few. I've seen a few clips. I really
Yeah.
hadn't looked at the whole
Right.
film though. And your counter play was a lot better than just a straight triple option when you opened out, because the flow was hurting you a little bit, but the counters were tougher. Here's a counter pass.
Albert Chandler. He was a good player.
Yeah, very good catch. Yeah.
22-yard gain. It seemed like they were intent on taking away your outside pitch to Greg.
Oh,
Pruitt
yeah.
in this game.
Well, would you?
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Fumble.
Yeah, then it's something we
Another
have to get
turnover.
field position. We fumble it right there. Side the 30.
Tim Welch puts it on the ground. Rich Glover
Love
recovers for
covers.
Nebraska.
This is why I said we should have thrown the ball a little bit more to John Harrison.
40 seconds to go. Long ways to get in the field goal
Yeah.
range. There's Joe Wiley.
Yeah. Outside handoff. First time we run that.
Now you got the
Nah.
first down, so you're going to open it up here a little bit and put the ball in the air.
Yep. Johnny Harrison on flag route.
Wow.
Got great hands, vision.
43 yards.
Yeah.
And what a big turn of events here right before halftime. It looks like maybe you're just going to settle, go into the locker room with a deficit, but a big hookup here. Now you're in field goal range at least.
Now we're going to throw a touchdown. John
Another
Harrison.
pass. John Harrison, the touchdown. Bang, bang.
Yeah. Two big plays to Johnny. That's the first time y'all
Yeah,
been
your
behind
passing
at halftime.
Yeah. Said your passing game hurt us more than the running
Yeah.
game, I think.
You bet.
Messing up our secondary got switched around and probably shouldn't have done
Right.
that.
Nebraska, Coach Switzer, had given up 7 points or fewer in 8 of their 10 games this year leading into this. 3 shutouts. So to put up 17 in the first half was quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, and to lead them at the half.
To lead them at the half.
Yeah.
And the momentum into the locker room, I would imagine.
Yeah. The biggest play of the game is really when Sugarberry Hamilton, our defensive ends, got Taggy's trying to pull him down, and he throws a sidearm going down, sidearm pass to Johnny Rogers for a 9-yard gain to convert, to be able to go in on that drive. They scored and win the game. That was a big play. That would have made it about a 4th and 17, 15, and it'd been interesting.
That's what we call a spoiler alert, folks. That's coming up in the 4th quarter. 3rd quarter now, second half underway. Sooners lead at 17-14.
Wendy Cox.
That was Jeff Kinney on a counter dive that time. Sprint out pass.
Good play.
Mark Driscoll got him.
Mark.
Jeff Kinney to midfield.
Kinney again, yeah. Jeff had, I think, around 140, 150 yards in the game. Jumped offside.
It was kind of a low penalty game for both of us.
That's the only one.
Okay.
One penalty in the
I
whole
was
game.
going to say it was a low penalty game, and we turned it over 3 times. They lost 1 fumble. We lost 3.
That's amazing. One combined penalty. Sooners come up with the sack. That's going to force a Cornhusker punt. Still 17-14 OU. Coach Osborne, I want to ask you a little bit more about the Selman brothers and just your memories of trying to go up against Leroy and Dewey and Lucius.
Well, the memories were not great from the Nebraska standpoint. They were great players, and as I remember, they were just seemed to be really good people. And I think Barry could comment on that better than I, but I was always impressed with that family. And so their mom and dad did a good job with those guys, and they're a tremendous asset to have on your team. Another tackle by Glover, and he pretty well took care of the middle there for us. And at that time, they didn't use zone blocking, and for the center to block that guy one-on-one was pretty difficult.
Yeah.
He was a wrestler in high school, and was pretty quick. He wasn't a very big guy.
No, he wasn't.
But he used his hand well. Yeah, he probably
was he out of New
210
Jersey?
pounds.
See, this play we've averaged about nearly 10
Yeah.
yards a carry. That's the second time we've run the quarterback counter. And
Right. Yeah.
I'm the offensive coordinator. I guess I should have called him more.
John
Oh
Mildred.
my God! Here we go, moving the ball, and got the ball in that good field position. Turn it over again.
Bill Kosh falls on it for Nebraska. Second fumble forced by Joe Blayhock. And the Huskers have it back. Rich Glover, by the way, would have 22 tackles in this game for Nebraska.
Rich is, like he said, is not that big a guy at all, and not that tall, really. About what, 6'1"?
Right.
Not much more than that.
Yeah, I'd say not much more than 6 foot, really.
Yeah, 6
But
foot.
you know, it's hard to win a game when you have 3 turnovers, unless the other team has more.
Yeah.
And that was probably the big difference in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
17-14
An option
Oklahoma.
play
lead.
that the quarterback had. Yeah.
Driscoll.
Here comes a big play in the game right here for Nebraska. Bill Olds on the carry. Jerry Taggy's going to fake the pitch, and
This is Taggy, yeah.
Yep, that's the big play out of Taggy. See that play right there.
inside the
Really made a
5.
difference.
Yeah, Jerry wasn't real fast, but he was a strong guy, and and very consistent, good thrower. He was drafted by the Packers. I think he played for the Packers for a couple years. And of course, he was from Green Bay, as several of the other players were. There's Kinney on the touchdown.
Yeah.
And Nebraska's back in front. Jeff Kinney's touchdown run. Here's another look.
Where was Jeff Kinney out of? Nebraska kid?
He was from McCook, Nebraska. Yeah.
Okay.
He played quarterback in high school, and he was a good receiver too, and certainly a good running back, and just a good all-around athlete.
You know who
Played for the Chiefs for a while.
Yeah.
Midway.
Tom came down here to do a fishing show with me in Texoma one time. We didn't catch some fish, but I got him a helicopter ride back to Oklahoma City instead of 3 hours in the car.
Yeah,
21-17.
It was a cold
Oh, wasn't
down
it?
there, Barry.
They still got our picture on the wall down there. I want you to know that. People send me pictures all the time that the cafe at Texoma.
Yeah.
They want to know why Tom Osborne Switzer's picture was up on the wall. On the Texas
Didn't catch
side.
a fish, huh?
Yeah, it's.
There weren't any pictures of fish, though, were there?
No, there sure weren't.
How do you see it? Midway through the third quarter, and 21-17 Nebraska with the ball. Jeff Kinney again to the 50. With a game with so much hype going in, 1 versus 2 is living up to the billing. It's a 1-score game. Kinney this time for 15. Nebraska didn't put it in the air much, but they do here. Jerry Taggy evades the sack and hits Johnny RODGERS again for 20.
Johnny was a great receiver, and I think he had the record for receptions at Nebraska for quite a few years. He only weighed 170 pounds, and but he was a great athlete. He wanted to play corner too, and he would have been a great corner.
I see Johnny a lot at the conventions too, Hall of Fame banquets. He's around quite a bit.
He usually hauls his Heisman Trophy with him. Have you ever noticed? He's
got
it in a box.
His autograph sessions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Taggy back to throw again and scramble.
I was looking at a picture of me and you and Bobby Bowden the other day. We took a picture at that autograph session we did up in New Jersey Turnpike several years ago. I saw that the other day.
That picture. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bobby looked young. You know, he was 91 when he passed, but you know he looked great, really did, until he got sick there at the end.
Yeah. He went pretty fast. I called Tommy and tried to get a hold of Bobby, and never made connections with him. And but I talked to his son, and I always probably the guy I was closest to in coaching was Bobby, and then of course our relationship was always good as well.
Yeah,
you can see we didn't really throw very much in this game. Yeah.
Down to the 1 after the completion to Johnny RODGERS. Jeff Kinney's going to pound it in and make it 28-17. And deep into the third quarter now, Nebraska's got a double-digit lead. And some oranges start to be thrown onto the field.
A little early.
And sometimes up here in Lincoln, when they started throwing oranges, they were frozen. And we had a couple people got beat. Got hurt pretty bad by those thrown oranges.
And, the worst place, Tom, wasn't your place. It was Colorado. They threw a lot more than oranges on the field in Colorado.
Final rankings this year, by the way. Speaking of Colorado, Nebraska 1, OU 2, Colorado 3. Big 8 had the 3 top-ranked teams in the nation in 1971. Sooners need an answer here. They're down 11.
MILDREN, counter option, lead block.
The Big 8 had 45 initial scholarships with no upper limit, and I think that helped us quite a bit. We were a very strong lead at that time. Yeah.
Tom, your average age of a Nebraska starter versus an Oklahoma starter was we were 19.9 months and y'all were 21 years old.
How about this play, Coach?
It took your offensive lineman 3 years to get on the field. You know, the guys that played in the huddled offense, they redshirted, you know, played freshman ball, redshirted after freshman ball. They had so many numbers. Yeah. And first ones really started the weight program. You had the weight program, and you were ahead of a lot of people in that.
Well, big third down pickup here, Coach. And you go to a trick play. John Harrison to Al Chandler for 51 yards.
Throwing the ball, yeah.
That keeps the drive alive.
Mildren.
Yeah, tackle, yeah.
Oh, he got hit in the ribs, but he's get up, Jack, 8-yard line, 7-yard line. Great job of blocking Pruitt.
First and goal inside.
You had to have backs that could block in the wishbone. You had to have guys that could block, and they did.
Yep.
Late third quarter, they see it under 40 seconds. Second and goal. And Jack Mildren's going to keep it again, and this time he'll get in. Touchdown.
Boy, Bell blocked, walled the corner off and Mildren in. On Carroll. Straight on placement kicker.
Sooners would run for 299 yards in this game. Nebraska 314. Oklahoma, though, would have 100-plus more yards total in this game because of their passing. 467 to 362 total. The Sooners and Cornhuskers in Norman, Oklahoma.
Well, this is back when the NCAA said they determined who's going to be on television every week. That's not so anymore.
Yeah.
But they always had this on Thanksgiving. Tom has had this experience too. Everybody talks about Thanksgiving Day, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Always, you know,
Right.
Thanksgiving dinner on that weekend.
Used to wear those tearaway jerseys, and Jeff Kinney usually went through about 3 jerseys in a game. There's a reverse to Johnny RODGERS.
Yeah.
Well, he made big play after big play in this one.
You can tell he's a lot quicker and faster than everybody else out there.
In his final game, we played him at I-back, and he rushed for about 130 or 40 yards and threw 2 touchdown passes and had quite a game. And that was the next year.
Early fourth quarter, Jeff Kinney gets a couple. He was down. Jerry Taggy avoids the sack and gets some positive yards.
Yeah.
Taggy was about 220 pounds, and he had some running ability. Just he wasn't the fastest guy, but he was strong and had pretty good agility.
Kinney again.
And was in a blitz there.
Oh, yeah, with terrible on our perimeter. God, that's terrible.
17 yards, and the Huskers now in field goal range. Big play here. Nebraska threatening to take a 2-score lead again. Quarterback Jerry Taggy gonna fake the reverse, goes behind his back, but drops the football, and Lucius Selman falls on it.
Big Lou. Yeah.
That was our only turnover, and
yeah, he had one of them. That's it.
It was good that we only had one. Yeah.
Sooners with a chance for the lead.
There's another counter. Every time we run this counter, we made 7 or 8 yards.
I know, yeah. Well, we were flowing pretty fast toward your initial action, and
especially with
I think that made it a good play.
Ian.
It's Glover again. He came back on that one.
Yeah.
And,
first down, though. It was short yardage play.
Yeah.
Made a first.
28-24 Nebraska. About 10.5 minutes to go. Tim Welch out to midfield. Great pitch.
First pitch, we've got the Pruitt. Woo.
Yeah.
18 yards.
Pruitt was a lot like Johnny RODGERS. Great speed and great maneuverability and agility. Yeah. Started playing the counter a little better here. Larry Jacobson.
Getting some play recognition with it. Yeah. We didn't run Pruitt enough.
Clock's melting away, 9.5 to go. There's Welch again.
Bowie, Texas. Good block, Timmy Welch. Yeah. Fullback counterplay with fullback turning up. Linebacker.
22 tackles in a game is a lot of tackles for a defensive lineman, you know.
Yep.
And
clock ticking.
I think Glover was second or third in the voting for the Heisman Trophy, which is unusual for a defensive lineman.
Yep.
Sooners push their way to the 16. Greg Pruitt. And Coach Switzer, you're going to take a couple of shots at the end zone here, through the air. That one intended for Al Chandler, knocked away.
Yeah.
Anderson broke it up.
There were some games, Barry, we played you and you didn't throw a pass.
Yeah, I know.
Mostly with Thomas Lott, you didn't throw very much. There's one that
Johnny Harrison. That's why I said Johnny, his quickness and speed on the guy they had on him that day, we didn't throw enough.
Second touchdown for John Harrison.
Put us up.
In the fourth quarter, Oklahoma in front. 16-yard strike.
How much time left? Enough for them to go score.
It was enough time, yes.
Yeah.
How many times in your career, Coach Switzer, have you looked back at a game and said we should have thrown it more?
A lot. Well, the ones I lost, maybe I'm looking for a reason why we should have won. Second guess my offensive play calling, but yeah. What is the score here? We're at 31.
31-28.
31-28.
Carroll bangs through the extra point.
Field goal separation.
Still 7:05 to go.
Did we have overtime in this era? I don't even know if we had overtime.
No.
No. If you'd kicked the field goal here and a bit of tie, we'd tie it. Y'all debated.
Yeah. I hope we don't get hate mail from the fans because we called bad games. And
that was 50 years ago, Tom.
20 years ago.
Most of the people aren't alive today. Watch this. We're fortunate.
People have long memories. There's Kinney on another play. So brings up 3rd and short.
3rd and 1. And Kinney's going to get loose this time.
Yeah, that's too much. I mean, just plays like that out of Kinney, the second effort, breaking tackles, pushing people off. That's why you won the game right there. It's not the touchdown or the 2-yard plunge or whatever, but it's the plays like this right here. That missed tackle, that missed tackle, missed tackle. You know, that's what makes the difference.
Here comes the sequence of plays you referred to earlier in the show, Coach Switzer.
Yeah, we're at midfield. 49. Is this the?
This is first down.
Yeah, first down. So it's no gain. It's going to come a 3rd and 8.
I think this is the third
third
down pass. I remember that call particularly because that was a big play in the game.
Now this is the 3rd and 8 coming up. Right here. This is the one Raymond Hamilton gets a hold of it.
Yeah.
There's Raymond right here. Rush. That's.
And the completed pass to Johnny
made him scramble.
Yeah.
Yeah. That right there play. All right, the throw him back across his body and right off the ground, he makes the play. been easily incomplete pass. Damn.
Jeff Kinney for 13, and Nebraska's cooking now, just outside the 20. Another inside handoff to Johnny Rogers. He'll get 7, down to the 15.
I don't want to watch this. I'm leaving, Tom. Good to see you, Tom. I'm leaving.
Okay. All right.
Tell Chris Anderson
It's
hello.
been good to talk to you, Barry.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. I'm not leaving. Hey, tell Chris Anderson hello for me.
I do that. She's here today. She was.
Yeah,
in
she
the studio here.
texted me earlier and said she'd gonna be there. Make sure you were there.
Yeah.
Jeff Kinney down to the 6.
Yeah, she.
We got about 2 minutes to go here. 31-28 OU.
You know, we take a shot at 80 yard to Johnny Harrison, just right over his fingertips here to go to win the game, maybe when we get the ball after they score.
Yeah.
That ball almost a fumble, but
Yeah,
he was down.
Yeah, that would have been the end of the game, right?
Yeah,
there.
that would have been it right there.
The fumble. Yeah. Yeah.
See it again.
Ooh. Not down yet.
He's down
He's
now.
down. Good call. 2-yard line. Here's the next play, and the difference in the football game on the scoreboard anyway. They're going to give it to Jeff Kinney, and for the 4th time, he's into the end zone for a touchdown. With 1:38 to go, Nebraska back in front.
$138 is still a lot of time, you know, and
Not with these
football
two
games.
teams. Not with us.
yeah.
With your air raid passing
Hey,
attack.
Lincoln Riley might score 3 times.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Boy, they got some guns, Tom, down here this year. I mean, it's a lot different today. They can light it up quickly here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Extra point is good. 35-31 Nebraska. Here's one more look at the Jeff Kinney touchdown.
Stick your head in there, Shaughnessy.
Jeff Kinney ended up with 171 yards rushing in this game.
We got quicker. We've gotten a lot faster here.
Here's your play. Jack Mildren on
Yeah.
first down, play action.
Oh my gosh.
You had him.
Oh my gosh. A little further on out boundary. Let Johnny run his speed over underneath that one.
2nd and 10. Mildren will keep it this time. Got about 4. It's going to bring up 3rd down.
I don't even remember what happened here.
Yeah.
That's this. No, I don't remember.
Rich Glover.
I couldn't told you this series.
Jacobson got it.
Has Larry Jacobson on the sack there. And
And that's how it ended. That's an
Well,
incomplete pass. Rich Glover, the knockdown, and Nebraska would get the ball back and milk out the
Jacobson,
clock.
big tackle. Yeah.
35-31, he won the Outland Trophy. And
Hell,
isn't it amazing, Coach Osborne? 50 years later, we still hold this game in such regard. What a day it was.
yeah.
yeah, it was an interesting game. I think there've been other claims to being the game of the century, but this was certainly one of them, and one that
both
Barry and I
teams.
will always remember.
Both teams were so dominant all year long, 1 and 2, and no one was even close to them. You know what I mean? We dominated the game, both of them, Nebraska and Oklahoma. It was track meet every week. But we knew we were going to have the clash here. We'll come down to this one, how we played in this one.
Coach Osborne, we know you need to go, and we just want to thank you again for the generosity of your time. And even though these two schools were such bitter rivals through the years, we still hold you in such high regard down here in the state of Oklahoma. Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be with you this hour.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Yeah, Okay. Great to see you, Barry.
If you come down, let me
I'll
know.
put-
I'll see you down on the field before the game if you come.
Okay. All right, Barry.
All right.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, you bet. Enjoyed it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Coach.